So David and I have started to watch a TV show, Ring of Power, based on all of the whole Tolkien series. So it's like a prequel. But one of the things that I love about the whole Tolkien series, put all the Christianity aside, is the question of power, unity, and people really getting along. So just hold those thoughts in your mind when I share with you about this week's Parsha. This week we've got Parsha Re'eh, really the seeing portion. And whenever, just to give you a clue, when we're looking in the Bible and it talks to us and we see things repeating, that's always something to pay attention to. Don't let it go by you. So in this week's Parsha, we see Hamakom Asher Yishvah Hashem, the place that God will choose, appears 16 times. It only appears 21 times in the entire Torah, 16 in this Parsha. So already this should tell you, what is it, the place? Well, the place is the temple. God's choosing it. Cool, we kind of get that. Chose Mount Moriah. It's all good. But why is God having to tell us this repeatedly? The rabbis, of course, had all sorts of different places, all sorts of different ideas. The fascinating thing is that it never tells us specifically in this portion the actual name of the place. It simply says the place, Hamakom. We get a clearer establishment later that it's on Mount Moriah where God first appeared to David. We also know Mount Moriah is significant because of Abraham and his son Isaac. So we're catching that there's definitely some significance. For Rashi, really, when we look into the sages, though, there's definitely their focus also on the vagueness of the phrase, the choosing or the chosen place. Rashi sees it as a progression from the portable Mishkan in the desert, focusing in on the centrality and permanence of the temple itself. Rambam suggests multiple different reasons, actually, to prevent other nations from, in fact, fighting over the place, whether or not it was going to be in their tribal region, since they're still in the wilderness. The place was not specified. But the most profound insight, I think, comes from Sifrei Devarim, medieval midrash, which tells us that finding this place isn't in a passive act of waiting for divine revelation, but it's an active process of seek to find it. And the midrash goes on to say, and then the prophet will tell you. The teaching transforms our understanding from mere obedience into actually a collective, collaborative approach to when we're all coming together in unity, we're able to find the place to have that wonderful divine connection. Pirkei Avot reminds us when we're challenged with coming together in unity, because as you know, it's easy to become united, that we should remind ourselves to be like the disciples of Aaron, loving peace, pursuing peace, loving humanity, bringing them closer to Torah. The journey, of course, to find creative and sacred spaces is not always a smooth journey. Our history is filled with debates, divisions, and, chaotic circumstances. Simply remind yourselves of the Pharisees and Sadducees, the Hasidim and the Mitnagdim. And even the conversation, the loving conversation between all of the religious denominations, even amongst the tent of Judaism alone, let alone other faiths, regarding sacred spaces. The lesson, though, in the Midrash Sifrei Devarim suggests that unity doesn't mean uniformity. Like David actively seeking while remaining open to prophetic guidance, we are supposed to be respectful in disunity. We're supposed to recognize our differences, not undermine those differences. We can acknowledge them and still come up with a shared purpose. Makom, though, suggests a deeper meaning of this phrase. It's not just that we have shared differences with respect in determining where we're going to be at. The space itself also is significant. Our tradition teaches that one of God's names is in fact Makom, the sacred space. And the Midrash goes on to explain that God is the place of the world, but the world is not God's place. Rachel Adler expands in her book, sacred space is not just about location, but about relationship. It's about meaning. It's about forming meaning. It's about remembering that we are all, in fact, interconnected, and how we treat our space, how we guarantee that it's a safe space where a variety of different people feel welcome, regardless of who they are, is inherently a challenge. It is itself not just choosing the space, but choosing how to be in this space, which is important. In our modern world, how we have to confront the profound influence of our environment. When Judith Plaskow challenges us in her book, Standing Again at Sinai, to think about creatively including all in our sacred spaces, recognizing that all of us were standing at the foot of Sinai when we received the Torah. That way we can foster an atmosphere of respect and kindness. We can make sure that we are welcoming. We can both remember to be Aaron, remember to be loving, while still being respectful of all of our differences. Our synagogue in Macon is a place of our choosing. You all choose to come here on a Friday night. You choose to make time out of your busy schedules, and I'm sure it's because of the sweet, amazing food in our Onegs that bring all of you here. But when we sit together, when we pray, when we talk about God in the Kiddush room or even here, there's a midrash that I love, that when we're conversing about sacred spaces or sacred things, God descends in that space between us. It's my hope and prayer that our synagogue remains that vibrant center of life, learning, and social action of Tikkun Olam. That we are all engaged in the ongoing process collectively together of making our place truly a sacred space that reflects diversity and aspirations of our entire community, recognizing in this politically polarized time that our members are red, blue, purple, and every color in between. That our members identify themselves in a variety of different ways in different places. When we think, though, back, like I mentioned, of Lord of the Rings, one of the things that movie and that whole series reminds me of is that it's the conflict over the source of power and over the right path, which of course that's the high drama and for David, all of the fun battle scenes. But it is those battle scenes which destroy the community and undermine who we truly are. We don't need that drama. What we need is to remind ourselves again to be together, that we can be present, treat each other respectfully, even if we disagree. That we can honor the fact that we're all created in the image of God and continue to make our synagogue a shining light of goodness, kindness, and peace. Shabbat Shalom.